This is the latest Philco project. It's a little 39-6 table radio, 5 tubes, 1939. It's very similar to the 38-15 that I restored just a little while ago. Basically the same chassis, but without the shortwave band, and with a few components removed along the way. They must have been trying to reduce costs. This is AM band only, 5 tubes. It has a transformer operated power supply. You can see the transformer in the middle there. And an electrodynamic speaker. And let's look at it from the other side. Here we see all 5 tubes in a row. You only see one intermediate frequency transformer because the other one is under the chassis, doesn't have its own can. Right in the middle of the chassis on the back there you can see a screw hole for the adjusting capacitor. That's where the this other IF transformer lies. You can also see down here a little coil of wire. This does not have a built-in loop or coil antenna. You just attach this length of wire to it and it works surprisingly well on a short bit of wire. Here's the underside, and you can now see that IF transformer without its can back there on the back of the chassis. You can also see some black electrical tape on the power cord. This is a replacement power cord that someone else had done. I will probably replace it further with a polarized plug eventually, but this one's actually in good shape and there's no immediate need to replace it, so I've been using it as is. You can see the new capacitors added. You can see off on the right end of the chassis a little terminal strip I added for the filter capacitors. And there are, I think there's 2 new resistors. They're replacing one. They're in parallel to give me the right resistance. And most of the resistors are pretty good on this one. Here's a view of the bottom of the cabinet. It says 39-6CI. The I stands for ivory, and you can see on the bottom here it's painted an off-white and ivory white. That same red grease pencil marking appears on the rear of the chassis saying the same thing. Then down here in the very lower right-hand corner, they've stamped the same numbers into the wooden case, 39-6CI, stamped in there, very faint. And here it is back in the case. Again, 6CI refers to ivory, the I, for the painted case that was the way it was delivered originally. This is not a lacquered, veneered case as most of them were then. This is painted as it came from the factory. And whoever owned it last before it came into my hands had painted it again in a light blue. And it wasn't a bad paint job. I'm going to leave it that way since it was painted to start with. Might as well leave this paint on there. It looks pretty good. The grill cloth I think was original, but it's kind of in need of a replacement here. So one of these days I'm going to do that. Meanwhile, the little radio is a real performer here. Let's see.
We all have the power to do something, to stand up.
He was very quiet anyway, and he was more of a spiritual leader than
susceptible to what's happening. Now,
Certain that your logo will look perfect on your promotional products.
with over a 90% success rate without shots or surgery. You'll also learn 350. That's FOCUS to 350-350. Just get... Previous voyage. At a White House briefing, Vice President Pence announced the 21 positive cases.
To help you become healthier today. There was Dan Richmond.
In this show, guess
Bringing you...
You part of the show, and Mike is a little bit better than me.
From Michigan's Lieutenant Governor Carolyn Gilchrist, he told CNN earlier today, why...
At the point where we're seeing more. You want to have sex with giants or no? Kansas, North Carolina, and Switzerland to work from home.
Inez was working as a janitor in Berlin in the 80s.
Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience. Radio app. Radio, music, podcasts, all free.
Open door, and we have a great letter that kind of connects.
Now, I was just tuning across the dial. That's most of the way. I've gone 3/4 of the way across the broadcast AM dial there. And it gets lots of stations. And I'm doing that on just about 6 feet of antenna wire. Kind of heads back that way. And it's the old stranded stuff that came attached to the radio. Somebody had hooked it on there. And again, 6 feet of wire, and it pulls in stations just all over the place. It's late at night here as I do this. So the conditions are optimum. But on the other hand, we're sitting under big shop lights, fluorescent shop lights in my shop, and I'm not getting much noise and buzz out of those. So I'm really happy with the way the little radio turned out. It's again a Philco 39-6 CI painted case radio. 5 tubes worth, performing like a champ.